So we have reached the level of evil within Russia that they are now beheading live Ukrainian POWs in Bakhmut. Now, some of the more idiotic commenters will point out that it's Wagner Group that's doing this. Well, make no mistake, Wagner Group is Russia. Wagner Group is the organization that creates plausible deniability, but absolutely executes the true will and true nature of the Kremlin. They just can sit back and tell the world stage, hey, this isn't the Russian military. This is a private military company. We have not as much control of them. So the Kremlin, despite the fact that Prigozhin and Wagner Group is on the payroll from the Kremlin can sit back and say, it's not us. It's not the Russian military. It's totally them. But secretly, the Kremlin talks to Wagner Group and is totally fine with everything they do because they want that level of brutality. They just know that the backlash for such brutality is such that they can't conduct it within their own military, despite the fact that they're conducting other means of brutality such as rape and murder, etc. So that brings me to the question of, since we're now seeing a new level of evil that we haven't seen at least since Slobodan Milosevic, and we are now on the path towards what is likely a Hitler-level evil within the Kremlin, who is supporting Russia now? Because we see tacit support coming out of China. And China likes to paint themselves as some sort of potential mediator, but you can't be a mediator if all you ever do is go to the fucking Kremlin or host Putin, and then whenever Zelensky calls you, ignore him, or whenever France or the United States implores you to try to bring Russia to bring it to its senses and have them stop, you ignore that. No, you're not a mediator, you're supporting Russia. And now you're supporting an organization that is beheading people. And you look at those that say we need to try to bring Russia to the table so we can have some sort of negotiated settlement. I'm talking about Turkey or Hungary. You're now trying to have a negotiated settlement with a country that is beheading people. So the fact of the matter is, what I hope at the very least comes out of this is it is such a disgusting and vile video that Western nations once again ratchet up their support, military support, provide additional strength and capability and weapons, and provide additional, basically the means of ejecting Russia from Ukraine, because we are now dealing with ISIS-level terrorists, but it is a state sovereign terrorism. It is not just some rogue group that the world has to come together to fight. This is now a group that, because they have oil, some countries are turning a blind eye to flat-out evil. And if you're one of those countries, you need to be remembered for doing that. Hungary needing support from Russia, Turkey, China, all of these countries. We see North Korea and Iran, but they were already evil to begin with in general. But these countries need to be held accountable for tacitly supporting a terrorist organization. Furthermore, we need to find a way to remove Russia from the Security Council. I know there's no mechanism. The only way I could potentially think outside of the the legalities of, they never actually signed the Security Council when they did the transition from the Soviet Union to Russia, is have the UN General Assembly dissolve the Security Council. Dissolve the Security Council, because a Security Council with Russia on it beheading people is just vile. So if that means dissolving it and then potentially rebuilding it in a different way and discluding Russia, because Russia is now becoming a terroristic rogue-style nation, then so be it. But the Security Council may just need to be dissolved, and I'm not sure how that would work. I don't know if that'd ever be something that could come up, but the General Assembly would need to find a way to use the majority that do not support. There's a huge majority that does not support this war, and find a way to dissolve. The problem is I believe the UN Charter states that dissolving the Security Council needs to go through the Security Council first. But The reality is the Security Council has become an absolute joke. And it's not even a joke. It's just a very sad state where you see countries like China and Russia supporting through their votes things like beheadings and child kidnappings and such. So that's one thing that needs to happen, but also in the immediate near term, we need to provide weapons en masse, more weapons to Ukraine, because the United States and NATO and other countries have never stood by and watched as just absolute evil perpetrated and profligated through an organization such as the Russian military and the Kremlin. And that's where we're at. We're on a path towards that is past Slobodan Milosevic and is heading towards Hitler, and we need to get out in front of it quickly.